Hello YouTube, it's Eternal Frost here with another random video game thoughts video. And I've been away for a few days. I actually wanted to get my next video as, well, you're seeing it right here, Spintires MudRunner, which is I guess a sequel to the original Spintires rather. It looks relatively the same, but I mean, everything does look a little bit more gorgeous. Anyway, I wanted to do my next video on this game, and I was waiting for some extra pieces to come in. An interesting thing about this game is that it has, well, I'm playing it with an Xbox controller, right? I don't know if it's got, like, HOTAS or steering wheel support or pedal support, but it feels good with an Xbox controller. Nothing wrong there. But between that and my headset, and I'm also using the mouse for certain functions like dropping waypoints on the map, I actually need 3 USB-A ports, and wouldn't you know, the Alienware 13R3 does not have 3 USB-A ports. So I got 2 USB-C. I was waiting for a couple USB-C hubs to come in so that I could plug in all my peripherals and record. So that's where I've basically been. Played a little Vermintide, and of course I play MechWarrior Online daily, but like I've said previously, I don't think it's a game I'm planning on really broadcasting. So anyway, Spintires, MudRunner. Oh, look, never seen a city before. And Spintires, MudRunner, you're really seeing the gist of the game here. The game is less about goals, really, and more about just tooling around in the mud, as it were. So the mud physics, I'm not sure if you're noticing as I was driving around, are pretty good. I'm playing in casual mode, so it's not nearly as difficult. It's got an automatic transmission, and things are just a little bit easier. Fuel consumption isn't as bad, etc. But the mud physics are incredible, and so are the water physics. Hopefully we'll get to see some of that. Anyway, what I just did here was unlock 2 extra trucks. No idea what they actually are at this point. You can begin the maps with a selection of trucks. So here, this one is carrying, I think, some garage equipment with some parts and fuel. The other one is likely A469. This me, A4320 is the other one. The other one looked like it was empty. Oh, it's got stuff for some logs already. So it's cool. Maybe I'll grab that later. Anyway, so the point of this game is the premise is simple, and like many things in great games, it's how you get there that's the real challenge, right? So basically you have lumber mills. I'm actually right next to one. You can see right here on the map, I'm next to this lumber mill. You'll see it says delivered 0 of 8. Your job is to bring lumber to these lumber mills. That's it. Sounds simple enough, right? You go over to some log kiosks, like these log stations, load up on some logs, and take them over to the mill. Yeah, sounds simple, but in practice, turns out to be a lot more difficult than you'd think, with all the water. Now you'll see some of these portions of the map are blocked off. In the center you'll see these things called watch points. And they're not that far. Like this map is a lot smaller than it might look at first. And there's a reason for that. You hit these watch points, you get close enough, and then that will reveal those portions of the map. And you'll find very quickly, especially if you're playing in hardcore mode, that you need to plan where you're dropping fuel cisterns and all of those attachments. Like, it gets very strategic, right? And half of the game is, or I would say the majority of the fun of the game is just getting to where you need to go. And there's something, I don't even know how to say it. There's something relaxing about this. I used to play Windward. I don't know if that sounds familiar to any of you guys. It's like a ship sailing game. And Windward, yes, there was combat, and yes, there was, there's all sorts of things in Windward, but, see, I think I'll take the road here. But the draw of it, for me, wasn't the combat, wasn't the, you know, the things to do, the quests and unlocking stuff. It was just, there's something about the game itself where it was just very calm and very, I don't know how to describe it. It was just really calming to play without objectives. Just one of those games where you can just relax while doing it, kind of like a mindless slog, as it were. This game has that kind of characteristic. You do what you need to do, and you don't have to really have an actual way of doing things. You're free to go about it as you please. So, anyway, you'll find this game not only... I'm sitting here on my parking brake. So there's fuel, you get locking differentials in some of the vehicles, you can turn all-wheel drive on or off. All these things help you navigate some of the mud here. I'm going to actually go left to lose more traction here. And you get damage too, so you got to be really careful about driving into trees. The way the wheel works rather, it doesn't return to neutral unless you actually tell it to return to neutral. In other words, you steer right, you have to steer back left to get it back to neutral. So it does require a bit of concentration. Now there's a fun view in this where you can actually view from within the hood. This can actually make some things easier, but depending on what's going on, it could also make things more difficult, right? But yeah, a lot of this game can be, if you've gotten into a bad rut, rescuing your vehicles, right? This Jeep, the initial one that you start with, well, it's not a Jeep, you know, it's 4x4 here, is great for scouting, unlocking those watch points. And what I was doing there earlier, driving next to those two other trucks, if you drive close to those that are locked, you can unlock them for later. And some of those trucks have much better off-road capabilities than this thing. This thing just, it's very quick, it's very light, very maneuverable, and easily can pull itself out of jams. And worst case, if you get stuck, you've got a bigger truck to rip it out should you need to. Problem with those other trucks is, although they have much larger fuel tanks, they also eat fuel quite a bit more quickly. So, yeah, that's it. This game is very relaxing, very fun to play. Here you go, you got some water here. Try not to get swept in the current, or get stuck on a tree. That little thing was in my way. Oh boy, that's rough. Oh man, that rocket's resin hurt. So anyway, yeah, one random limitation, I guess, of the Alienware that I was not expecting was the severe lack of USB-A. Wasn't expecting that at all, or to be an issue, especially for recording. It usually isn't, because usually, you know, if you're using a controller like I'm doing now, you've freed up the slot that you're using for your mouse because you're not using the mouse and controller at the same time. I found that the interface here, the mouse works a lot better on the map. The controller is very, very wonky. Oh, crap. Just drove into that branch. When it comes to trying to ping things on the map. So. Oh, there's also night and day effects. I can honk, you can turn on your, you can't tell, but you have headlights that turn on. Things get pretty creepy at night. They could easily make this do a horror game if they really wanted to. You'll see that as I'm driving here, it's not that far. Yeah, distance 139 meters. That's not that bad. The real difficulty is finding the way through there. You don't get these waypoints, or rather these red lines to guide you if you do hardcore mode, by the way. You basically have to rely on your compass. I can fit. Okay, see that black thing there, to the right? I just have to get in that zone to... Oh, crap. I wasn't expecting that. It's a pretty fast-flowing river, too. Wash me out into the ocean. Is there a better crossing on that side? I guess if I go fast enough, maybe I might be able to winch myself to one of those trees. That's a pretty fast-moving stream. It's a bit worrisome. Oh man, that is really pushing the car. There you go. Get some stuff stuck to me. Oh no no no! Whoa whoa! Those rocks! I don't know if you can see those rocks under me, but they're pushing me around. Get that winch going. And that winch is a lifesaver. Knowing how to just immediately... Oh, vehicle weight matters too. You'll see I can't mow down these trees, these smaller trees, because I'm in a lighter vehicle. Some of the heavier ones, you can just walk right through that. Got through here. So, anyway, like I said, fun game. Oh, there's a K700. That's a pretty, Oh, I've already unlocked it. Just by revealing that. Fascinating. That's a pretty nice rescue vehicle. Big, beefy, eats a lot of gas. Let's see, where shall we go now? Well, I guess we'll do round trip. Just kind of head down to this fork and then take a right. Maybe? Yeah. There you go. We can make it there. Big rock, big rock. I can't see through this bush. I have no idea what I'm driving through here. It's the end of me! Oh, lumber mill. That's not bad. That's where we can pick up some tree stuff. See, if I stop here, it's going to ask me to load up stuff. It's like, hey, you can't, oh, this is where I'm dumping. Never mind, not picking up. But yeah, it's a little bit deceptive because, like, it says it's got 80 liters of gas, but, it doesn't, like, if I get in that K700, watch, I get in that K700, it's going to say, like, you have a shit ton of gas. But, that thing, again, eats it so quick. Yeah, 340 liters filled at 117. So I have this little crane in case I need to pick something up, like rescue another truck. Big and beefy, man. That thing can definitely get to where it needs to go, but it just eats gas. Let's get back here. So this game does have online co-op, which obviously changes the game quite a bit. You can have two trucks going at once, right? Maybe one guy scouting with the other one following, carrying like a load for garages or fuel and repairs, just in case. So it really changes the dynamic of the game. I played some online in the original Spintires. I haven't yet played with MudRunner. It doesn't look like a lot of people have unfortunately really picked it up. Oh, there's a big rock there. Again, it's a shame. The physics, as a physics demo itself, the game is great. One thing I have noticed is that the physics don't seem to save. Like, if I go through this map in one go, all my tracks are going to be saved. Like, all the mud that I've kicked up, all that stuff, all these deformations, they stick. If I exit out and reboot, or not the computer, but if I exit out of the game, and come back later, and there's an autosave system, so if I were to stop right now, for example, I could go back and I'd be right there, right? But if I were to stop playing the game and come back, all the deformations disappear. Also, I've lost myself. Alright, let's see if we can get to this watch point. There's a... Actually, let's fuel station first, hit the watch point. Now, this garage here says locked. You start at a garage, right? And at the garage, you can get repairs. You can recall some trucks, like this Jeep can be recalled to the garage if you happen to lose it, say, in a river or in the ocean, right? And it also provides a limited amount of fuel. To unlock a garage or to have that as your home base, right, you have to deliver basically 4 points of garage goods to it. So I can't do it with this Jeep, but maybe with this K700 or maybe with one of these other trucks I've unlocked, I could drive them over to that garage and potentially unlock it. Of course, you have to make it there, which, again, with this game, sometimes it's harder than it sounds. I've never hit this hints button. I don't plan on doing it now, but no idea what that does, in case you were wondering. So, there's a road here, it says, but I don't see it. Just follow the coastline, I guess. Stay away from those rocks. Oh, jeez. Get that horrible feeling I'm just going to drive into the lake on accident. Yeah, some of those small boulders, especially in these smaller cars, you got to watch out for. They really hurt. Anyway, so what's happened since I've been... oh, look, another... That's going to blow me through. There's no way. I need to find a better crossing. Really? Wow. That was just terrible. I just took a head into that. That was horrible. I guess I must have slid. I thought I was going to coast to the left of that. What was I saying? Oh, right. So... maybe if I winched myself through. That's just going so fast. I don't trust. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, right. So a lot's kind of happened the past couple days in the tech world, right? Continual releases for Nintendo Switch. I don't know how many of you guys own a Nintendo Switch. I do, and it looks like some of the promised games are making their way. Very excited for that. Things like Skyrim just down the line. There you go. This is the safe bet right here. Oh, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Park right that. Skyrim, for example, is just around the corner. Of course, Mario Odyssey just released. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I'm not as much of a Mario fan as I used to be. I didn't play Galaxy, I didn't play Sunshine. All games that were highly rated. I don't know. I'm not... Ow. I'm not into platformers anymore, I guess. It's just not a thing I do. No, maybe I should try it. I don't know. I did buy Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I was more than pleasantly surprised. That game was everything the hype said and more, and put 165 hours into it and still play it. I mean, there are things I still, haven't discovered yet, which is just kind of ridiculous. I'm glad Nintendo really knocked it out of the park with that one. I mean, they really kind of just said, hey, look, open world games, this is how it's done, and they changed the game, as it were. There's the fuel station, another bad rock hit. Whoa. Things can get pretty dicey if you start going down slopes and you're not prepared for it. The camera controls are a bit wonky, but I mean, once you get used to them, it's not so bad. Oh, it's really muddy here. Oh, and I can't use that garage to repair. Of course, right? Let's see if I can make my way. Ow. The environmental audio's horrible. Anyway, so I think I'm going to pick up Monopoly, actually. I know it's Ubisoft, and I've mostly sworn them off, but I want to kind of play that with my wife and the kid on going on a plane trip soon. So I think that would be fun to have as a little family game to play while on the plane, right? I found that the Switch is the ideal, by far, the ideal system for playing games on a plane. It's small enough to sit on the tray. You can have multiple people play, so you can play, especially if you've got a 3-seat wide sort of configuration. You can get that going on with some Mario Kart or something, and with headphones too, you can make it so you're not bothering anyone around you. And most importantly, unlike a gaming laptop like this Alienware, which probably also fits on the tray, you're going to get more than an hour worth of gaming. You'll probably get the full flight, 4 to 6 hours depending on where you're going and what game you're playing. So the Switch has really stunned me as an avenue for gaming, especially on the go. And yes, okay, so if you're a child and you have a Nintendo, you're not going to be flying around places, but for an adult, it is an incredible piece of kit. So, that's not the only thing that's been exciting me lately. This one's got logs, this one's got... So this one's got a garage point. What do I actually have? So he's got one garage point. If I go over my garage, I got C4B130. Oh, whoops. You know what I should do is shut off the engine. Oh, there you go. Because it just automatically did that. So I chose this one. Let's see. What's it carrying? Looks like it's got a garage cart. So it's 1 point. Oh, and a utility tent. So that's 2 points. 2 garage points. And what does the other one have? Has fiberproof exhaust, garage parts. So that's got 2 garage points. So between the two, I actually have a total of 4 garage points, which is what you need to unlock. So that would take all 3 trucks to go there, and that kind of seems silly. So I'm going to check this B66. It's got the garage point. I think I'm going to drive that back to this garage. Maybe pick up a trailer to add another point to it, right? And then that way I can do the trip in... Oops. I could do the trip in... Why does this say 3? I can do the trip in 2 trucks. Now, it's possible to do it with a single truck. There is a massive trailer you can pull. That's a garage trailer that requires a utility hitch. But that thing is so heavy, it's usually not a good idea. Usually to do it in one go. Now, it looks like it's a pretty straight shot down this road. But like I've said before, what appears easy on the map doesn't necessarily mean. So let's take this buddy out. I'm gonna take a right, another right. What is this? A B66? The first trucks you start out with. They have some challenges in this game too, and I haven't played them, but they're kind of interesting. Like, one of the challenges is to drive through the city and deliver something on a big trailer, but you have to drive, on the right side of the road, and you have to do it from first person. Kind of fascinating when you think about it. This thing always has diff lock on. That's kind of interesting. Let's see on the right side here. So we're going to go take this to the garage, repair it, and then see if we can add a cart or something to give us an extra garage point. So it's carrying like an all-purpose... Is that water? An all-purpose carriage here. So it's got fuel, repair points, a single garage point. It's this would be one of those vehicles, like I mentioned earlier. If you were playing online multiplayer, this would be the perfect vehicle to carry around behind your buddy in the Jeep in case he takes a header into a tree like I did. Then you can easily repair him. You know what I mean? So, or get him out of a bad spot. And that's kind of the fun of the game, being able to sit there and like winch rescue your buddies when they're really stuck. It's good times. Repaired, got some fuel back. It'll only restore up to 200 liters of fuel, so something like this is going to restore everything. So I got the utility tent and the spare wheel. There. If I carry the cart like I have with the other one, I'll be able to get 2 points in. Now, hopefully the cart isn't going to mess me up too much. Anybody who's realistically driven a trailer before you know how quickly that can make things messy. So this could be pretty interesting. Let's get that trailer on. It's a tiny trailer, it doesn't look too heavy. Alright, so let's plan our path here. Go through it this way. Basically, I'm just marking wherever I'm going to make a turn. Because it's not too... I mean, you shouldn't get lost in this, but you never know. That should make it. Alright. Let's unlock this garage. I think once I unlock the garage, that'll be the end of this video. But, hope you're enjoying it so far. It's a good game. It's a very different kind of game, you know? It's not, there's no murder, death, or killing. I think it's heavier than I thought. Go around the big puddle, of course. Not into the water. You can see how we can, at 3 liters a minute, at this rate, you know. If it was really bad, you can see how quickly we could run through gas. The atmosphere here, I don't know if you've seen the movie, Trolls? Not that cartoon one, I think it was Trolls. Scandinavian flick about, well, about trolls. But like, their mythos of trolls, so big, human-eating, religious type of monsters. It's got that very same feel to it. Oh god, this is gonna be rough. This is so heavy. Just the environment, it just feels like that movie. I think this is supposed to be based in Russia, maybe? Or maybe Eastern Europe? I don't know, maybe it's Alaska. The trailer, the guy's speaking, I think he speaks Russian? Is that Cyrillic? I'm not sure what the... I'm sorry guys, I don't know what the actual language is called. I assume it's not called Russian, but I could be wrong. I'm sure there are different dialects, you know what I mean? Pretty smooth sailing here. Not bad, not bad. Oh right, there's another thing too that I'm pretty excited about. So, since we last... Oh, trucks with no lumber? That's a different mechanic. So you can't take this route with lumber. That is fascinating. So you actually have to ford these rivers. Oh, no, you don't, because you could take this log station back this way through here into the lumber mill. You just can't take that main road. That's hilarious and also horrible. So the Razer phone just came out, and so that's a weird thing. I try not to be loyalist, right? I'm not like one of those, oh, Apple's the best company in the world, or Google, you know, Android everything, right? I'm not one of those people. I do like the openness of Android quite a bit, so I've seen more than my fair share of Android devices. Not going to put that lightly, right? I do, however, currently run both a Windows phone, a Lumia 950, as well as an old HTC One, the M8 variety, right? The wife's got an M9. She really likes those phones. She actually was of the same mind that whatever phone I had, she had to have too. So I don't really understand, because at the time, you know, I was much more of a power user. I found as time has gone on, she has become much more of a power user than I have, so it's kind of interesting how those roles are reversed. Anyway, Razer phone, right? That thing is beautiful. I saw the keynote. Not sure if you guys saw it. I was all about the Pixel C. Kind of depressed because I had I was a big fan of the Nexus tablets, so the 7-inch, 8-inch tablets. Picked up a Shield K1. Loved the thing. The capabilities of that thing is a beast. Being able to both wirelessly have a controller with no lag and stream wirelessly from your computer, you know, 1920 by 1080. How deep is that? You know, the rule of thumb is never forward if you don't know, but whatevs. No regrets. Lots of regrets. Oh no, we're good. Had a K1, loved the thing. Like I said, it had great battery life. Very stock Android, had lots of updates. And then surprisingly, when the Shield came around, I guess that absorbed the X1 processor, and there was no successor, right, to the K1. And that really made me sad. The battery on my K1 finally bit the dust. maybe 2 months ago, and so I brought my old phone, my M8, out of retirement. Why would you need 2 phones, right? Well, there you go. Now I have 2 phones. Don't know what to do with them both. Let's drive this thing. So keep going. You're not done yet. Jesus, this thing. Let's unload these. There you go. More garage points. We can do that. Let's stop the engine. Grab one of the other trucks. I think, was it the 130? We can do that one. That should be fine. So I'm very interested in this Razer phone. It just looks, as far as I'm concerned, fantastic, right? The specs look like they'll last forever. That phone, you know, won't need many changes. The amount of RAM. The only thing really is the camera, but you know, having had an HTC for such a long time, I've been a big fan of HTC. I've never really been a fan of Samsung's phones. They've always felt rather flimsy to me, just not very impressive. This doesn't have diff lock or all-wheel drive. Oh my god, this is interesting. I've never been a fan of Samsung phones. They never really felt right to me, but HTC, you know, they always seem to make more than a fair phone, and so I've always been a fan of, this is going to be difficult, I've always been a fan of, oh, we're going to make it work. Of the HTC offering. I always felt like they've made very good, solid devices, and, they've just had bad marketing, you know. Samsung out-marketed them. But that, it is what it is, right? So HTC no longer exists. They were bought out by Google, I believe, right? And so their development team basically went the way of Google. I really should have brought something with at least all-wheel drive. God, this is horrible. Yes. If you pull hard, you can actually break what you're pulling, so go figure. That'll help. Which saved the day like that. Anyway, I was really all about the Pixel 2, right? Not the XL. I've been hearing some interesting, if not outright bad things about the screen. But the... Oh god, I'm just dragging. Look at this thing. But the Razer phone, man, like I was saying, okay, if the camera's bad, the camera's bad. That's not that big of an issue. I've dealt with bad cameras. You know, their ultra pixel phone, the ultra pixel stuff on HTC's offering. You know, they've gotten better over the years. The M9 has a spectacular phone, for example, or camera, for example. But you know, HTC's kind of missed the mark on cameras. They're not. Cameras aren't as important to me. They've become more important to me since I've had a kid, right? But in general, I like to experience things not through the lens of a camera, and I couldn't really care. I could care less. Or I couldn't care less. Sorry about the double negative there. I couldn't care less if someone saw what I did, or vice versa. I don't do things for the sake of, you know, fame or anything. I do things because I want to experience them, right? So anyway, point being, the camera's not a non-issue for me. And when I do use my phone, it's majority consuming media, right? Wow, this is really good on roads. Doing things like watching YouTube, for example, watching Twitch, you know? I mean, these are things that I really, really like to do on my phones. So, having a good... Yeah, I'm avoiding that shit. Having a good multimedia suite, such as the ability to have... oh, this is going to be an interesting exercise. Which was that? This is such a bad idea. I don't even know which way the wheels are facing. Not that it matters, they're not even moving. The visual audio experience is more important to me than the ability to take good pictures, to be perfectly frank. So the Razer phone is currently hitting all the boxes. On top of that, it's less expensive than the Pixel 2, right? So yeah, it's almost like a no-brainer, right? I can be get over that. Inch away, let's not break that tree, right? That thing's waving. It's because I'm on top of this other tree. Over. I believe in you. Gotta wiggle the tires a bit. There you go. You can't see the front wheels, the rear wheels are just digging up the dirt. Those dualies are trying to get the work done, but it's just not happening. Make it good. Ugh. Like, the only reason this is working is because of that winch. Oh man, I'm never taking this truck ever again. Oh, it's horrible. And look at that. Yeah, that part's gonna be. What am I even doing here with this? Should I cross the left and go over? It's gonna go on here. I could do. Just winch this from the K700. See if we can skirt by. This is such a bad idea. Such a bad idea. Oh my god, she did it. What? Oh jeez. Oh god. Trying my headlights. Oh, this is gonna be a mess. Now there's no hope. Oh, we gotta make it to this. Oh man. There you go. Oh boy, that might be the end of it right there. Swim! I believe in you. Oh man. What truck is this again? The 166? Don't ever take it. Oh god, it's horrible. Or was it one? Man. The 131, you start out in the first map with a 131. I swapped it out for this thing, such a bad idea. Such a bad idea. Alright, we're parking this thing. This is a bit further up. Oh man. Yeah, no. Done with that one. That was such a bad one. At least the other one had all-wheel drive. I don't even know what to do with this one. Just leave it. Leave it. No one cares about it. Let's see. Let's get back into the A69. Anyway, like I mentioned, I was gonna record up until reaching that garage. Maybe I'll have more info on the Razer phone. I'm probably gonna pick one up. $699. I think, was it 640, 699? I don't remember, but that's the entry price for that thing, which is not that bad. Works with AT&T, which is what I have. But yeah, slick design, incredible speakers, incredible screen at 1440, and of course the 120 hertz. That's really what matters to me. I'm not a fan of the OLED screens. They're too color saturated for my tastes. I like truer colors than oversaturated, I guess, quote, pretend ones, right? But yeah, I think that's going to replace my personal phone, which is that HTC M8. Still like the Lumia 950, but as we all know, Microsoft doesn't really get in places with their Windows OS, or their Windows OS, with their phone OS, which is a shame. It's a pretty slick system, so yeah, not enough people gave it a shot. So anyway, this is Eternal Frost signing out. Hope you guys have had fun. If you would like to see more, like, subscribe. Let me know if there's any other games you want me to play. I think next time we'll see some more of the MudRunner. So take it easy, guys. Eternal Frost out.